All right, so let's talk about having insecurities when looking at other people's work, because I know this is something you deal with. As a community manager, I see this all the time because we have people of varying skill levels and varying output levels as well, people that can just make things at an excellent pace. And of course, this leads to people feeling insecure about their output level as well. And it's not just in my community, we see this everywhere. It's on Twitter, it's on YouTube, and it's in the comments. People that feel like that they're not as good as they could be just because they're seeing people making things that look better to them through their own eyes. But if there's one thing I need you to understand, it's that absolutely everyone feels this in some way. This is just the nature of being inspired by things, and feeling insecure about it won't help yourself, unless you can of course turn that insecurity into a motivation to then continue, which is a very possible route out of it. But one thing you should keep in mind is that no one's sitting there looking at this other person's great piece of artwork or whatever they made, going, oh, this person's good, therefore you are terrible. That doesn't happen. That's a very self-centered view. But of course, trying to get rid of these feelings of insecurity is a difficult thing, especially if you've been struggling and frustrated with your learning process, whereas these other people seem to be making amazing looking things effortlessly. But one thing you need to remember is that there was this whole process that went behind this other person's learning that you have not seen. You're only looking at the end result. Everyone has complex life experiences, and the amount that you get to see, especially on social media, portfolios, Twitter, YouTube, etc., is only a very cherry-picked small selection of their overall experience. And if we cherry-picked moments from your life or things you've created and presented them in the right way, then they would probably also look amazing to someone else. And this is the exact problem with social media overall, and I think we're probably all in agreement with this, that it's basically just people cherry-picking moments from their life to make their life look more interesting and amazing than it actually is. And of course, this breeds more insecurity. So you really shouldn't make a comparison of this amazing thing that's been selected and then compare that with your life in some way. You need to be able to take that thing and turn that moment of insecurity into inspiration and then use that as a motivation to try new things. If someone has tried something and you think, well, why didn't I try that before? Then just go ahead and try it. Just because they've done it now doesn't mean you can't do it now as well. And you may surprise yourself. You may try to copy them and get closer than you think that you could have done, or you may even excel them in some cases. It might be a bit of a sad reality to come to, but I think the people that really sit there and wallow in their own insecurities about things are the people that really don't go anywhere. The people that really excel are the ones that are able to take that moment and turn it into a motivation, a push, just to try something and explore new territory and move out of their comfort zone. It's also really easy to get caught up in the moment when you're seeing a huge wave of encouragement hit someone else who's doing something that you find difficult to understand. And I'm seeing this more than ever now with November going on with Blender, where we of course have all these people doing these amazing vector displacement results for the different prompts. So basically making models and animations out of pure math, essentially. And it's easy when looking at work like that to think I will never be able to catch up, because I've definitely seen people saying that. But you need to be able to take a step back, look past the encouragement wave that's heading towards that type of content and think, okay, well, do I need to learn that? What elements of that skill would I be able to take away, and how useful actually is it? Because when you actually think about it, vector displacement is completely freaking useless for a lot of stuff. But people get caught up in the idea of how amazing it looks and it's the center of the world at this point in time. And that if you're not learning it, then you have the FOMO element, you have the fear of missing out, and that you'll be left behind in the community if you don't somehow pick up this skill. That's rubbish. That's unnecessary. Everyone has different skill sets and everyone likes to explore different things. But at the end of the day, no one is as good at being you as you. And that fact will never change, no matter what. You will never be left behind in the realm of being yourself. Every individual skill you try and learn, there will be someone that's better at it than you are. But the collective skill set that you have created is always going to be unique to yourself. People tend to focus down onto the individual skills themselves and measure their self-worth by their skill level in that certain skill, but you shouldn't do that. You need an overall picture of your all-encompassing lifestyle, essentially. You as a package bringing unique value that no one else can provide. And it's the same story for everyone else. And when you look at human beings as these all-encompassing packages, then they're incomparable. And if you can really get your head around this idea, then I think you will find that you will feel less insecurity, because it instead stops being a game about competing in certain skill levels, but instead becomes a game of how do we maximize our collective values as human beings. And if you want to, you can really take a step back and think about it from an overall perspective. Imagine humanity as a hive mind. Instead of being individuals, think about us as a collective group. If someone is trying new techniques and discovering information that you haven't found yet, then that's good, because now that information is available to humanity, whether or not it's available now because people are hiding their knowledge behind marketing in some way, it will be available eventually, and nowhere is this more true than in free and open source communities. Anyway, yeah, I just thought this month would be a good time to talk about this specific subject. I don't want anyone to feel insecure about their work, and you shouldn't want anyone to either. So feel free to share this video around to anyone that you think might find it interesting. All right, so that's where we're going to leave it. Keep making amazing things. Stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
People think that vector displacement is, and I'm guilty of this as well, like saying that vector displacement is useless, because I don't think it has any place in production. If I was employing somebody and they spent 6 hours making a vector displacement of something that you could model in 10 minutes, you just fire them. There's no time for that. But then the skills, like it's the same logic as you use in Houdini for mesh generation, or you use in Sverchok, or you use in Grasshopper. Like is that a bottle of milk that Josh just drank from?